In this video, we're going to take a look at a few of our precast assemblies that we have in our new Bid Pro Masonry for PlanSwift plugin. So in a previous video, we've started some takeoff here. We did some CMU wall takeoff to demonstrate how that assembly works. So for our openings, most of the time we've got to also quantify for masonry a precast lintel for the header of the opening, and then a lot of times also have to pick up a precast sill for that opening. So we've developed a couple pretty neat assemblies to do that with, and we're going to take a look at those real quick. So we're going to launch our precast lintel assembly. So we can name this lintel whatever we need to name it. So we'll name this precast lintel, we'll just say with number 5. Okay, so from our drop-down list here, we can select our lintel type. Again, this is going to come from our internal database that we've created in our list tab that you can go in and modify any way that you need to. We can select our lintel width. So we got an 8-inch block wall. We're going to be using an 8-inch wide lintel here, and then we can input a bid amount per each for our lintels. So if you want to add that to calculate in your bid, and then a waste percentage and a multiply. So in our rebar and grout tab here, we can pick up our continuous rebar. So we can select our rebar size, how many runs of rebar we can pick up with our lintel rebar multiply, and then waste percentage we want to calculate, if any, for our rebar. And then also our lintel grout, we can pick that up with waste here as well. So once we've set up the lintel type that we're going to take off, we want to make sure that, again, we've got the location folder selected that we brought over into our estimating tab previously when we did our CMU wall takeoff. So we click OK, and all we have to do is go through and do a segment takeoff of the actual opening width for each opening that has the same lintel type. So we'll just do these two windows here, hit record, and if we take a look at what we've calculated, we'll go to the estimating tab. Okay, so we picked up our lintel rebar and grout for those two lintels. This is just our labor item or our bid item that picks up on our bid report. So what the precast lintel tool does is, based on our segment takeoff of our actual window width, the assembly automatically determines what precast lintel size is needed to get your 8 inches of bearing on each side for your opening. So you can see here it's calculated one lintel 7 foot 6 inches, one 5 foot 4. So for this opening of 6 feet, it's calculated a precast lintel of 7 foot 6 for that. And this opening of 3.38 feet, it's calculated a precast lintel of 5 feet 4 inches. So what the assembly does is it takes your actual opening size and then compares it to a list of precast lintel lengths that are available. We used Lots Concrete. They seem to have the largest selection, at least online, of precast lengths for different lintel and sill types. If you use a different manufacturer for your precast materials, like Quickcrete or Castcrete or some other company, then we could actually create a custom version of this assembly with the precast available lengths from the company that you use programmed into this assembly. So that's how quick and easy it is with this precast lintel assembly to go through, do all of your precast openings. So for a recessed door lintel, for example, We can launch the same precast lintel assembly. We call this precast lintel for 3.0 door. And for our lintel type, we can select a precast recessed door, recessed U lintel for 3.0 door. Select this, make the same selections: our lintel width, our bit amount for each one, our rebar and grout waste percent. So for our continuous rebar, how many runs of rebar, and then what grout, if any, that we need in the lintel, and then our waste percentages for both. So if we click OK and do our takeoff here, so we got just a standard 3.0 door here. We got a 3 4 inch opening, and you can see that it calculated a precast recessed U lintel for 3.0 door at 4 8 inches long. So that's how the precast lintel assemblies work. We also have one. So obviously, if you wanted to, you could duplicate this precast lintel assembly, or copy and paste it as many times as you want, and go ahead and pre-select, which lintel. If you've got lintel sizes that you use, over and over again, you could duplicate the assembly, rename it to whatever lintel it is, and then kind of build a library of preset, lintel assemblies. You could do the same thing with the the Sill. Really, you're not really making many selections, so you probably wouldn't need to do that. But if you wanted to go ahead and set up a lintel type that was, had one number 5 with 3,000 psi grout, you could do that and save yourself a little bit of time. So we'll take a look at the precast Sill. It pretty much works the same way. You can name it whatever you want. If you want to change the name of it, select the Sill width, your bit amount each, a waste percentage if you want to figure, which really for precast, you probably would have that set to 0, and then your multiply as well. So it works the same way. You just go through and do your opening segment takeoff for the actual opening width, and it is going to automatically select from a built-in list of available precast Sill lengths and determine for your opening size which precast Sill you need.